Okay, but I have to, people are not helping tourists. We need to set these tables up.
Alright, can everybody in the back hear me?
Yes!
Alright, so we want to hear your voice today because this movement is about the 99% of us who are not being heard. So right now is going to be the time to speak your piece, not the last time, but tonight or this afternoon. We want to hear from you, we want to hear what's going on with you, what issues you're concerned with, because this is about what the Long Beach community is concerned with. So for me personally, myself, it's been a pleasure to meet about 24 new people every day since Sunday who are very inclusive, very open, and very welcoming. So we'd love to have more voices at our GAs, because the more of you who voice your opinion, the better we're going to represent Long Beach.
Long Beach!
That having been said, for me personally, I'm very upset that my voice is not being heard, that if you don't have money, because it costs so much money to run a political campaign, you don't get heard. And my goal is that if we get enough of us, our voice will be collectively loud enough to be heard even without money behind it. So I'm very excited to see all you guys out here, and I guess it's time for the next speaker. Can someone sign up to be stacked, because someone's going to have to keep track of who needs to speak? Yeah? Just a line? Okay. Okay, that'll do. All right.
Is it on? Alright, my name is Alyssa Molnix. Like you heard earlier, I'm in high school.
We've been picking a fight with apathy, like you're talking about, apathy to music. We've been marching in the streets for decades, and no one ever makes room for music. We use music for lots of reasons. One of the uses of music is harmony and unity. It teaches people about these lessons. Another reason we use it is to prove how brave we are. They say that speaking in front of a group is people's worst fear. They're wrong. Away, Joe. Away, away. The good ship now is rolling. Johnny! Way, away. Well, away, Joe. Well, first I met an Irish girl. Damn near drove me crazy. Tommy! Way, Holloway, well, Holloway, Joe. And then I met a Yankee girl, but she was fat and lazy. Tommy! Way, Holloway, well, Holloway, Joe. St. Patrick was a gentleman. He came from decent people. Tommy! Way, Holloway, well, Holloway, Joe.
Federal and state management of the economy and of the money. So, my mom, typically she has like 19 to 20 first grade students in a class, and then she's had to start taking furlough days, which are days which the teachers union decided that they would not work and they wouldn't get paid, and that's how, you know, they would compensate for not having enough money in the education system, and that's how they would, you know, be able to have a full year of school. So this year they're not taking any furlough days, and instead the teachers union agreed, which my mom is a part of. She, in order to work in the California state, at least public education system, you have to be part of the teachers union, and so they agreed this year to cut the amount of teachers that they have, and each teacher has to have more students. So now at her elementary school, there are 4 first grade teachers and about 30 students per class. And yeah, I mean, I've been there and seen it firsthand, but you just can't imagine that these are first graders. They don't know the meaning of rules usually, and it's honestly complete chaos. With 30 people, she has 4 students that she has to isolate completely from the group when they have group time. because they simply can't interact peaceably with other students. And basically, education is just not happening at this lower level, which is a crucial stage for students, because this is when they learn to socialize with other students for the first time, and when they really get fundamental skills taught to them. And my mom doesn't have any teacher's aides of any kind, and that's just one problem. And then there's my dad, who is a systems engineer for space and aeronautics programs that are funded by the U.S. government. But now, since no money is really going into space and aeronautics anymore, because when we have to focus on our own internal problems, we can't really worry about space exploration too much. But it's I guess that's just more of like a signifier of where the economy is going. We're not really concerned with like a human exploration and human creation as much as we have to focus on these crucial internal problems now. And my stepmom is a nurse here in Long Beach. She works at Long Beach Memorial Hospital. And now they're laying off nurses at like record paces. And I just feel like it's a real problem if we can't even afford teachers and nurses, which are fundamental, civil figures. We put them there to help us, Those are like people that we really, honestly, I think need in society to keep things running correctly. And I just feel like there's so many problems with the way that the money is being managed, that it's not going toward the people that we need in place to help us as a society. It's just going toward, I honestly don't even know who. Maybe oil companies.
China.
Maybe if we all stopped each individually owning cars and put forth those investments into public transportation of some kind.
Yeah!
I don't know, I just feel like there could be better ways that we could manage the way money flows through the economy, which would help bring those huge corporations out of power, So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
E-Verify. It's a city ordinance that's been mandated in Temecula, Mission Viejo, Hemet, and what it would do, it would require businesses to check someone's immigration status before they're hired. And that would give jobs to Americans who, are really suffering when you consider the unemployment rate.
Canada, China, people are exploited everywhere, and it's only when the day when everybody rises up and stands up and unionizes across the globe is progress finally going to be achieved. That's all I have to say.
Right on.
Yes.
To show these corporations that we're not afraid.
Yes.
To show the police that we're fighting for them.
Yes.
The working class struggle.
Yes.
I'm a former Marine and I resisted the wars because I found out the truth. I did not want my hands soaked in blood for gasoline, for profits, for bullets. People over profits. There's a saying,
Yes.
People with power are afraid to lose it. People with overwhelming power refuse to lose it. They're not going to give up this power so easily. We might be protesters here today, but the battle's coming. And it's coming soon. New York was last week. Look how they treated them. We here in Long Beach have more police shootings than in New York. New York is a big place. How is it that we have such violent police officers? They're supposed to be civil servants. But they're the hand that keeps us down. Once we unionize, once we get together, and like my friend over here was saying, once we unionize on a global scale, then we can make a difference. So you have to let everyone know. Fight with all your heart. Let this be something you do on the side. Let this overwhelm your heart. And let's overwhelm the world. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
The first step, but this is not the end. We're starting what's going to be a very, very long struggle. We're starting what's going to take maybe even years to change. But every step we take brings us closer to reclaiming what has been taken from us, which is our humanity. Right now, a lot of people are talking about what's wrong with them, but we have to talk about what's wrong with us and how we have destroyed our communities. We don't have any authentic communities where you have moms and pops looking out for each other on the street corners. You have grandmas and aunties watching out for kids. We have Facebook. We have text messaging. You know, there was a time when I would go pick up a girl from their house and I knock on the front door. Now you text her. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm in the car. You know, there's been couples who've been together for years and never met their parents. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I think with the influx of the technology age has really brought us away from each other, and this movement currently is a movement to reclaim ourselves. Reclaim what has been lost over time, because we have been damaged. We have been damaged by this sexist, patriarchal, capitalistic beast machine that is all around us.
Yeah.
And so we have to be mindful of that before we really engage what we have to engage. Because you think this is tough right now, getting people out here. Imagine engaging what you have to face on a daily basis. Imagine that fight that's going to happen. So I do implore all of y'all to really look inside internally and to see what changes we need to make to ourselves, because no revolution begins until we bring that revolution to ourselves. It has to start inside, and then we can spread that above to other people and stuff. And this is the first step. So every step you make, every real connection you make here, brings us one step closer to our humanity. And that's the biggest thing. And do not let that kid you, because everything we bring back to ourselves, it cuts along history. It makes a lot of the history that has been very negative, it puts a stamp on those things. So, you know, every connection is a fight against the first African slave that was taken from Africa for capitalistic gain. Because if it wasn't for slaves, what we have now would have never began. You know, every connection we build would stop. And what won't stop automatically, but it's a stab at, you know, the rape culture we have in the United States, which capitalists bring and they use against us by putting provocative images everywhere to sell their products. That promotes a rape culture where it's assumed that it's okay to do what you want with women. Every connection we make goes back to decolonize a place that was first occupied on indigenous people of this land. This is indigenous land. So when we occupy, we're bringing that back. We're making sure that we look at history and recognize that that needs to change, and that we don't need to repeat any of this again when we create that new future that we want. And that's the key. So the key to it is looking internally to look at how we affect this world, and to realize that any change for the future has to be radically different from what we have now. Because what we have now is not getting the job done. So, thank you. And also, to the man who did the Irish song, my grandpa immigrated here during the Civil War in 1912 from Ireland, went through Ellis Island, and because he didn't want to be persecuted as a Catholic, he changed to a Protestant. So that's a piece of my history that will never get remembered, because, you know, I mean, for all we know, he's just a Protestant. So that's a really big thing. So thank y'all so much, and continue this, and do what you can, and be realistic about your limitations. So if you can't occupy, then give people food. You know what I mean? So do what you can. Thank you. Thank you.
California State University Long Beach.
Summer,
And if it wasn't for my parents, I would not have a job. My message is very, very simple today. Educate yourself. Know where your money is going and how it is being used in the corporate America. Do you know what CDOs are? CDSs? Synthetic CDOs? Do you know that corporate America is gambling with your savings? Yep. Do you know what happens when one bank goes down and the government does not bail it out?
They all go down.
They all go down. You need to speak up. You need to know. Educate yourself.
But on the same token, the internet is free. Read. So are libraries.
the ones that are still open.
Ones are still open indeed. But as a result, we have to be that 99% that leads by example. We have to be in the world's eyes, and people have to go, why should I change? Why should I trouble my great lifestyle in some country where I potentially could have a future living by a 1% system? We have to show, hey, there's a reason you should stand with the 99%. Because we know what we're doing it the right way, we're doing it in a way which can lead to a future where people can have education and healthcare. That all major life supporting systems on Earth won't be in decline, so people can import certain woods from China and sell them at a 700% markup on the west coast of California. That is destroying the planet. You can't disobey natural law forever, not expecting to have it come back and bite you in the ass. Thank you.
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Alright. My name is Jason. I'm here for the same reason all of you are. So I'm fed up. Fed up with the system that rewards greed, that makes it easy for people that are greedy to stay on top and keep the rest of us down. And I think I'm so happy to see all of you here because together we can rebuild the system. We are the people we've been waiting for. I want to thank everybody, each and every one of you for coming out and supporting. And hopefully, I hope to see all of you there when we occupy it, when we take over Long Beach and spread the word. I just want to let you know, we have water, we have food, so help yourself. And I just want to say, let's introduce ourselves to each other. Get to know, get some contact info.